everybody, thanks for tuning in and welcome to another day trading recap video. So today is Thursday, October 6th, and it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster day for me in terms of P&L. So I started the morning strong, taking two trades on a leading gapper, I believe it was leading gapper, BEAT. So right away off the gates, I was green 120 bucks on the red to green move here on this stock. And then got a little bit sloppy. We had a couple of things popping up. We had KITT from yesterday, SNTI, which has been kind of a multiple day runner at this point. And I took several trades on that after getting green on BEAT. And just every trade on those were small red. I just couldn't seem to get dialed. My trades were a little bit sloppy. They weren't the cleanest setups. And I was just losing a little bit after a little bit after a little bit, and eventually got myself from plus 120 to flat. And then I got caught in a flush on SNTI, which got me to down 100 bucks on the day. I was feeling like, man, I was feeling a little bit frustrated. But then I came back. I was able to capitalize on the nice move we had later on in the morning on SNTI and got myself to plus $294 to end the day. So it was a nice red to green after the green to red on the day, So it was a little bit of a roller coaster, like I said. So let's jump straight into my trades on the day. So like I said, right away, starting out on BEAT. Looking at the 15-second chart here. I got in when we started curled back above VWAP. We pulled back here. When we popped up to this level, we were holding here, so I got in for the test higher. Ended up getting a nice entry. Rode it all the way up here and sold at 48. So that was a nice 20-cent trade right there off the gates. I then tried one trade here, and this is something that is kind of a theme of today that I was getting myself into trouble on. I tried a trade here, got a small green trade because I got the small pop, but it was looking a bit heavy. I sold for 3 cents, then came down here. I want to say it. No, I didn't. I almost took another trade here, but that was it. There was just those two trades here. So I had the nice trade from the red to green move here, and then on this pullback here. But this was a little bit risky, and it was something today that I kept taking losses on where was the dip off of, kind of an extension like this. So those are my trades on this. And then getting over to SNTI. Now this is the one that I was really struggling on earlier today. It was moving nicely. And as you can see here, I actually ended up locking into a halt after this kind of grinding up action here. But like I said, I was trying trades on it. I tried one trade in this section here for the break. Couldn't time it right. Stopped out and then went without me. Then I watched it go into halt. It resumed, dipped, rip 30 cents. I'm like, man, I missed that. And then I tried to get in on the pullback. So that was the first trade, like I was just saying on BEAT, where I'm getting in kind of on the pullback off the extension, and that's what's getting me into trouble. So like right here, I got an entry at 18, then it comes, flushes down, and I stop out for about a 10-cent loss there. So it's like, well, okay, that was that. So I gave back about 50 bucks off of the top at that point. I then took another trade here, and the thing was, this was a little bit lower volume, a little bit more grindy, as you can see here. And so I was kind of waiting. I couldn't time the breakouts right. And I kept trying to get the micro pullbacks off of the breakouts if they're going to be strong. And again, right here, it broke out. I tried to get the pullback, ended up dipping more than I thought, stopped out, and it was another loss. I'm like, well, okay, now I'm giving back too many gains. I then says down. And KITT was moving this morning. This was a stock from, I believe it was, yeah, just yesterday we had this pop. This is the daily chart here. We had a pop yesterday, and instead of fading, we just kind of held all day. Coming into the open, I had on my watch list, and we started moving here this morning, similar to SNTI, where it was just kind of this grindy diagonal action and ends up locking up into a halt. I then tried taking some trades in this range here, and just kind of got chopped up. And right there, I gave back the rest of what I was green on the day, and I was plus I think 30 bucks at that point. So I gave like 90 off the top, and I was just feeling like, man, I took two green trades straight out of the gates, and if I would have just called it there, it would have been better than continuing to trade, which is, I guess, always the inherent risk of continuing to trade after getting green. But it's the whole point. I'm trying to get experience. So then at that point, like I said, I was down 30 bucks, and I was just kind of watching and waiting, and I really wanted to wait for something to be obvious, but it wasn't really the case here on SNTI, and this is where I really got wrecked. So if we go back here. So I tried the trade here on the dip off the resumption, got flushed on. I then waited here, tried the dip off of this breakout, got flushed on. So I'm like, okay. Didn't take any trades through this section. And then I don't know exactly what possessed me to take this trade, but it was the same kind of thing. We had the breakout. Here's the whole dollar of 7. And the thing was, I was looking for this to be a tight dip and then the break of 7 for extension higher. But I mean, look at this candle. This was already from 65 to $7 here. That was a pretty strong 15-second candle. I got in on the pullback and got absolutely flushed on. Now, luckily, I got out at maybe, I don't remember what my fill was. I know it was 80s, low 80s. So I mean, I saved 40 cents downside on this big candle. But at that point, boom, I was down $100 on that, and I was like, man, I just gave back everything and then some, which is exactly the opposite of what I want to be doing. I then walked away. I was like, you know what? I don't want to shut it down for the day. Got up, got myself some water, got myself back centered. And I was like, okay, if I can come back and if I find something that, if there's an obvious stock that's trading nicely, I want to be paying attention to it. I want to be trading it if the opportunity is there. And then we had this move on SNTI. So this was impressive right here. We went from low to 650 there. I mean, that was a 35% move around 11 o'clock, 11:30, yeah, 11:30 Eastern time. And the thing was, I really didn't take any trades through this section. It was kind of low volume. As you can see here, we had really low volume for this consolidation, which can be a good thing for consolidation above VWAP. But then this action here was very grindy, and I couldn't really find any trades. But then through here, when we broke out, it started to speed up, and this is when I got interested. The first trade I got was the break of this flat top, and that was a nice trade. So we had this little pullback here. We were holding. I took the entry, sold. I think I got the break of 8, but it was kind of a weak break, and I left a little bit on the top on this table, but nonetheless, it was a good 8-cent trade there. And then in this range, which is a little bit of a unique situation, but this is where I actually did the best on it today. We had this first pullback here. I'm trying to remember actually. And this is where I drew the line after we had this bottom, we had this bottom. And this was actually a trade that I was just talking about earlier on. Well, I was mentioning it earlier on stream with BEAT, but something with that red to green move where we go right on the day, starts curling up, take the entry, and instead of selling all on the pop, sell half and then maybe wait for the other, to test higher, maybe for break of high of day, which in this case was exactly what I did. I wanted to have a super tight stop loss on this thing and didn't want to be buying dips off extension like I was, because that's what was giving me into trouble. But in this case, we just kind of had this grindy action, and the dips were getting bought up nicely. So I was like, okay, well, as long as this is gonna keep being the case, I want to try to capitalize before we get the rug pull, which seemed inevitable at this point. I bought the dip. I got filled here at 822 on this candle, and I sold half here when we came up to 30, which was good, which I wanted to do. We popped up then to 32. I sold another quarter, so now I'm holding a quarter of the position. And then we ended up getting the pop through high of day, and I sold the other quarter at 42. So that was exactly what I've been wanting to practice. That was a really good trade right there. I was really happy with that. And that was all out. Basically sold the top of this candle, came back down, and then I ended up getting one more dip right here. We dipped down in this resistance. I'm okay. I'm going to take it with a super tight stop. If we even crack this for a second on the bids, I'm going to be out. It got it, and I got it, and it held right on this level. I'm going to get the retest higher. I sold half here, and then I sold half into high of day again. And right there, those two trades got me back. I mean, this trade right here was really nice. I got it from 22, sold part at 29, sold the rest at 30, and then the rest at 42. And then similar here. So I got it at 34, sold half, when I say at 40, and then the other half here at 46 to 48. And then the last trade I got was kind of the break of this flat top level at 47. We dipped, we broke, I got in, and I sold out pretty quick over the break of 50 for another 8 or 9 cents. It then went up to 877 without me. And at that point, when it started to heat up, I was like, okay, I don't want to get caught in anything ridiculous trying to buy dips. And sure enough, the first candle that was red, it ended up flushing. And as you can see here, in the matter of about a minute, we went from 870s to lows here, and that was a 10% flush. So very similar to what we had earlier. And I did a good job of dodging it. So I think that I did a good job of adapting to what the market was like today and the setups that were playing out. And I did a good job of coming back after being red and getting green on the day. So all in all, it was a pretty good day. I had fairly good discipline, but I want to go back and be sure to watch some of the action that took place on some of my losing trades that got me from plus 120 to down $100 in the day, because that is something that I want to make sure I avoid going forward. But I think that wraps it up for me. All in all, the markets did okay today. I mean, we were down. Well, actually, I kind of take that back. No. So, I mean, we started the day okay. It was gap down. Almost, we filled the gap, and yeah, now they're kind of struggling here. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's that for me. Finished the day plus $294. So it was a good comeback day for me. I'll be back tomorrow with another stream. It's Friday, end of the week. Hope to end the week strong. Hopefully, we see some good gappers in the morning. And I'll be back with another recap. And as always, trade safe and later.